Hello crafters, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. I'm coming to you today with a live tutorial, and it's going to be an assembly tutorial really of how I put together two of these adorable projects, making them with both the Becca Fegan Die of the Month from back in October, I think 2020. Yep. This is from Amazing Paper Grace, and it's made for spellbinders by Becca Fegan. She designed this little camera die. I received this as some winnings, and it took some time to get to me, so I'm so very grateful. Thank you, Becca. If you ever watch any of my videos, which I don't think it'll ever happen, but if this ever comes before you, I just want to say a huge thank you for that. It's a blessing to receive anything, of course, and this is absolutely stunning. So I did get my selection of what I wanted to receive, and this was it. So she also sent another little goodie, which I was really happy about, and it was a nice little surprise. So please say hello if you're chiming, or if you're tuning in just now. Hello, Clint. Hi, and welcome. And thank you for saying hello. So this is what I'm going to be working with today, is this here. And then I'm also, but because I thought it would be super cute, I thought it would be great to make one of these little boxes. This is from TonicStudios, called Special Memories Gift Box Creator. And I've made several of these already. So what I thought was, why not make one for the little camera that I will be making? And it is going to be a 3D camera, so you get to see that. I thought they played well together, and I'm going to show you what I have cut out so far and explain step by step. Now, as far as the camera goes, I just wanted to mention quickly, if you happen to get this, and yes, I do have links below for both products. I am an affiliate for both companies, so of course, if you want to pick these up, it would do me a great favor if you did use my links. This one here from Spellbinders, I wanted to let you know, will fit in the small die cut machines. So I used this one, and every single piece from here that you need to cut to assemble this did fit through that machine, which I was really pleasantly surprised by. So if you just want to make a quick, cutting session, if you will, of all of the items that you're going to use, then you can definitely cut them all out, sitting before the TV or whatever you may be doing, and just have your papers and keep them all in one envelope until you're ready to work. So that I think is super convenient. So I've cut them all out. I've cut everything out. And then after I do the camera, I'll do the little box. So I'm going to set these aside. And actually, I'm going to bring this one back just so I can explain a few things. This little box houses some little, almost like little file folder or tabs like that. So this one will cut that out, okay? And then to cut the base of your camera, you'll use this larger piece here. It almost looks as if it's going to cut out that circle, but it doesn't. It cuts out a larger piece. And what I did was that I cut this out a total of, let's see, 2, 4, 6 times. 4 times out of decorative paper, just because I like my projects to be nice and finished. And then 2 times out of a thicker cardstock, just to make a sandwich, and I'll explain that in a moment. And it's because I wanted it to be nice and sturdy. It also comes with this topper piece here. Hello, Dee. Yes, isn't that a pleasant surprise? So this piece here, as you can tell, are the little buttons that would be on the top of the camera. So that's a decorative element. And what I did was that I did cut that out only twice, but you can definitely cut it out more if you want to finish the back of your camera. I happen to be using this rose gold cardstock here that I thought would play nicely with what I'm making. And then, so those are kind of straightforward. It has this piece here that has an inlay piece like so. This is going to cut out the side notches that you're going to need. They look like this, so you'll need 4 of those. It has this piece here, and these are just decorative elements that you would see on a camera. So you cut this out as many times as you'd like. If it depends on how thick you want your elements to be and that sort of thing. So you'll see how I cut those. It also has these here. This is to resemble kind of like the little viewfinder. So again, It has a background piece and then the layer that goes on top. You'll see what those look like. I cut them out of black and rose gold paper. So that's what those look like right there. And then it cuts this piece here. This is going to house all of those little tabs, which by the way look like that. So this is the size, okay? And this will house the little tab inside of the camera. So if you see that score line there, that's what's going to fold in half to hold this. So you'll cut this out a total of 4 times. That's what I did here, and I did cut it out of rose gold paper as well. So you see I folded those. Then with the same die cut, you're going to cut a few more. So you'll cut actually 2 more. Just 2 more. That's going to help have the sturdiness on the top of the camera. So I'll explain that as I go. And then you're going to have all of the pieces for your viewfinder. You cut those however you like. It's going to depend on how much dimension you want to make and all of that. And last but not least, it has 2 sentiments that you can cut into the tabs. And one of them says, "We just click." The other one says, "You make me smile." Super appropriate. So I just thought it was absolutely adorable and timeless. So that's why I wanted this set. Let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you the base piece. It does emboss into it, but because I did use this very floral and busy background paper, this is by the way from Graphic 45, and it's an older collection, 2015 I think, then you can't really see the texture too much, but it's there, and it is, if you hear this, it's nice and sturdy because I do have, aside from that nice thick cardstock, the element in between is that thicker card that I mentioned before, so that it would be nice and strong. So this has some little notches, and all you have to do is kind of feed this through here. Yes, it was a very popular paper, and I had the little slit, in fact, to show the name of it. And it's around here somewhere, but it was this kind of Art Deco, gorgeous collection. So it came with these elements like that. I thought it was super beautiful. Here it is. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned the name, just in case. Artisan Style Decorative Flourish. No, wait, that can't be the name of it, is it? Let me see. I guess it's the Artisan Style Collection. So it's an Art Deco style in any case. All right, so I'm going to grab my glue here. So all you need is to apply a little bit of adhesive or glue, whatever you want to call it, right up here, because that's where those little tabs are going to glue. And again, you just feed this through just like so. And I've already started assembling a little bit of this just to make it a little bit faster. Okay, so then it does have these little score lines to kind of guide you as to your placement, which is really nice as well. I love the attention to detail from Becca Feeken's collections. And all right, so any excess glue, you know, just wipe it off. Just want to make sure it's nice and straight, but this is what you're going to see from the back. And depending, of course, on how thick your paper is and all of that, it'll impact how far down you're going to put this, but I see that it matches there, so I think I'm quite comfortable with that. Okay, and this can be the background, because of course you're going to cut it twice. And as you can see here, this is the front one. It's exactly the same thing. I did cover the back also. Okay, or actually I think I like this one better, so let's make this one the front. So on here you have your little decorative pieces that I mentioned before, and you can put those on right away. No need to wait on that. So I'm just going to put this one. This is and it did come with a little picture to kind of give you a guideline there, but you put it wherever you like. I just love antique cameras, and I thought this was so much fun. So let me put this here. It cuts out the little circle like that. It looks like a little rivet, and pardon my nails, they did break. Whenever I use them, they break. And I'm going to use, just bear with me one second. I have all my tools here, but my little tweezers, they help me hold the paper, so I do like to use them. So you can layer that there. You could, of course, do that in a different color. It's up to you. And then I'm going to do this little kind of viewfinder piece here. I'm just going to stick that down right around here. It's going to overlap a little bit there, just like so. And then I'm just going to put the little shiny element on top. And that's going to go right around there. Super easy so far. So that starts looking, of course, like a camera right away. I'm going to do the lens part at the end, just because I want to show you another part of this. And thank you so much for the thumbs up, whoever gave it. I truly appreciate it. Oh, wait, I got ahead of myself. There's another little piece. This would be the little piece that would hold the strap of the camera, if you're familiar with them. These older cameras always came with a little strap that you could, a wrist strap is what they're called. So that could go right there on this side. And depending on, you know, how elaborately you decorate these, then that may or may not disappear later on. But I'm just going to place it right there. Okay. And it also comes with this die here that I had not yet mentioned, and it cuts out all of these little strips. You can see them right in there. What that's going to do is give you the finishing touches, of course, finishing details of this camera. So you have two larger strips, and let's see here. Thinking backwards here. Here we go. So those two larger ones will go at the bottom of the camera down here. Just like that. And they do curve, and then they have this little tapered edge. That tapered edge will go toward the center of the camera. And I do know that Becca Feekin has a tutorial for this, just so you know. Hers doesn't have a voiceover, it just has music. So for some of my viewers, and I know this from comments that I have, I do my tutorials according to the feedback that I get, okay? So some of my viewers do appreciate me mentioning those tiny little details, and that's why I go that far with it. Because let's face it, I could do this quietly here and not have anyone know what I'm actually doing. The rest of these, you can layer on top of the little buttons here. Now, I think I'm going to wait to the end for that, because I might do that in black, and I only cut it out in the rose gold. But I do have those larger pieces, and I'm going to put them at the bottom here of this, the background piece, just because I want it to be cohesive. It's not going to cost me anything to do that, you know. And I do like a finished project, so the more that I could keep it, you know, all looking as it should, the happier I am. So in any case, that kind of grounds that too. I think it's a great little detail to have there. And then before I forget those little grommets there, then I'm going to repeat that in the front by placing those. And you can guide yourself with the paper, because it will emboss right on there. And if you lose it because of the busyness of the paper, sometimes it's good to kind of like hold it sideways and try to get a feel for it. Or ballpark, you know. There's no law. No law says you got to get it perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that other one. I hope you guys are doing well today. I've not been able to come back and do as many videos as I would like, but I wanted to share this one today. I got everything prepared, and I thought, what a fun project to share with my crafty friends, so why not? So there's that piece there. And it's just those little details that I think really make it special. They make it stand out. So moving on here, I'm going to just quickly take away the paper that remained here in the middle, because there's these holes, are those little slots there, are there on purpose. They're going to help you assemble this. So maybe I should do that with a different tool instead of ruining it. because I did choose shiny paper, and you don't have to choose anything really shiny like this. It just so happens that this paper I thought was really pretty, and it also has it's a little bit sturdier. So I'm just going to apply the adhesive here where I need it, and it's only going to be on the little tabs that fold, and you just saw me fold them kind of just loosely there. But you do want to make sure that you have nice sturdy glue for this. In fact, you may even want to use hot glue if you're comfortable with that for this part, and I'll show you later why. But this is score tape. It just happens to be a thinner one, and it helps me with these smaller little pieces of paper, of course. But you use whatever you're comfortable with. So there's that. Just getting that prepped. Now, again, I want to make sure that these will fold before I get ahead of myself. So I'm just going to, you know, follow the little fold lines there. Get everybody ready. Just like that, okay? So for these, this is going to be the more fiddly part of this. But the good thing is that it does have a little notch here that you can look at, okay? And you'll see the top one is a little bit lower. So you want to take that little bottom facing notch, which is where you fold the paper down like that, and you want to start feeding this into this decorative paper, okay? So I want that shiny side out. So I'm just going to start feeding it like so with that little notch facing down, and kind of wiggle it in there, and you see it pops right in there, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and grab the next one. I'm going to do the same thing, and you just want to be careful that you don't tear your paper. What I found was that to kind of like open it a little tiny bit just with my fingernail really helped. So, and here, of course, you want to use sturdy paper, but bear in mind that the thickness of that paper is going to make it either easier or harder to feed that in there. So here goes the next one. Just going to feed it right in there. Yes, Dee, I know. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I live not too far from the Kodak Museum. I mean, driving distance, of course. I couldn't walk there if I tried. But I think it's hilarious to go there and see all of the antique cameras, and, you know, that's a big thing in this area, of course. And then see everyone's interpretation of them. Absolutely. It's really cool. Okay, so as you can tell, without explaining, I just grabbed another one of those little guys, and I'm doing the same exact thing, just on the other side. Okay, so it's not rocket science. It's just a matter of feeding it through, and if one of them falls out, don't worry. You have an oopsie, just make sure you do it straight, because this one fell out of the middle. So it isn't rocket science, but yeah. If you're like me, you can definitely make a mistake. What you want to make sure is that everybody's facing the same way. So let me just take my time. Got distracted talking. Here we go. Okay, so everyone there's got the little, you know, lip, if you will, facing the same way. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And there we go. Last one. Feeds right in there. Super easy. And this assembly is done now. This is going to turn around, and what you want to see is all of these little channels, just like that, okay? What you don't want to do is you don't want to apply any glue to this, okay? The only adhesive you're going to want is on those outer tabs like I showed you. So let's set that one aside and now move on to the top one. And here, what you're going to do is you only needed 2 more, okay? So this part will be easier. You're going to cut right down that perforated line, and if you need assistance with this, you can definitely use your paper cutter. I'm just following my scissors here and doing it like so. And I got to thinking you could even do, if you wanted to, those little messages that you can cut out of the paper, the "you make me smile" and "we just click." If you wanted to, you could even cut them out of here instead of cutting them out of the tabs. I think that would be super cute as well. But these are going to go, again, the same way that you did the other ones. These are going to feed right in here. So let me do it so that you can see the pretty shiny part. Just like that. I'm going to have 4 and 4. Now here, I do want to use adhesive, so I forgot about that. Let's do that thin tape again. And this is just personal preference. And I'm sorry I didn't have this part ready, but it won't take too long, I don't think. So it's going to go like so. And so if you are using the tape here, and the reason I'm doing it is because the paper, being that it's not folded, it's not as thick. So if you saw the other little channels, they just kind of hung out there. These have more of a tendency to fall out if you don't use tape, because it's only a 1 ply or 1 thickness piece of paper, of course. And yes, you want to use your thick cardstock for this, if I didn't mention that. Don't use anything flimsy or thin, because you'll regret it. You'll spend a lot of time working on it and then it'll just fall apart on you. So I'm just feeding that in, and then I'm just going to fold it right at that little tab so that it does stick. And I want to make sure it's nice and straight. So if you see that, I just folded it and stuck it there. So I'm going to repeat that, of course, with all of them, making sure they're all facing the same direction. So I'm going to remove my little tab, and patience, patience, patience. Fold this part of it. Okay. I think it's rather easy though. And the results are so worth it. You know, I know this is one of the more fiddly kind of dies that you can get. But that tends to be what I end up buying all the time anyway. I don't think I shy away from the more difficult ones. 3D crafting is just, to me, it's soothing, and it gets my mind off of other things. So I like it. Okay, so there's my one end there. So you see they're all facing the same way, like that. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So however you need to do it, whatever makes you comfortable, that's what you can do. But obviously they're going to face in the opposite direction. So just take off that adhesive and fold it right at the line. And it does have a little score line there, if I didn't mention that. Number 2, go right in there, fold it over, and depending on how comfortable you are with this sort of thing, you can move a little bit faster or slower. 3rd one in. I just took a risk there by removing that backing, but I think it's okay. And the last one here. Voila. So now I have both sides, okay? And I have this thing going on here, okay? So let's now put this on the base of the card. We said this was going to be the background and this is the foreground. So now this is just going to line up on the back of this. And the way to make sure that this fits properly is to try to fit it as far to the top as you can, but not surpassing that little lip there. So I'm just going to make sure that that's nice and folded like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take it to that edge all the way there to the top. Okay, and of course we're working with these loose single-sided ones. I'm going to match that on the other side, making sure here that it's all the way to the top there. Okay, just like that. And yes, this is going to fold, but if you see the mechanism, it'll fold in both directions like that so it can lay flat for shipping. Okay, so you start getting the idea of how this is going to work. So now I'm going to put that bottom one, and what I want to make sure is that I have all of those little grooves or opening facing up. Okay, so let's do that one next. And just as we try to place this really all the way to the top here, now we're going to do the same at the bottom. Okay, all the way to the bottom. And if they slip out, don't be too worried. You can always put them back in. So the way that I like to do it is to kind of fold it first and then place that all the way in here. And the YouTube camera is actually helping me. I can see it bigger on the camera. All right, I'm gonna flip this around and do the same thing here. Aim toward that bottom all the way to the edge, like so. And now we have that mechanism all the way to the bottom. We can check it out. It's going to fold both ways there. So you see you have almost like a little shelf now. So all that's left is to put that top piece on here. What I want to do now, however, is to place that cool lens on here. I cut out a background piece, and of course, as I mentioned, this came with several little circles here, so you cut it whichever way you want. You can do it several different ways, but I'm just going to center this now here. And I use this gorgeous dark green cardstock. It's got a linen weave to it, and that's going to allow it to have a little bit of depth, of course. Let's wipe this down quickly. All right, put that one there. I then have a black circle here, and I believe that's the front, so just add a tiny bit of glue here. And I'm going to place that as the little rim there. And then I have another one in rose gold. And here you can be as creative as you want. You can do as many circles as you want, as many dimensions as you want. I'm going to offset it a tiny bit. And thank God I'm using, this glue dries clear, so that it helps a lot with these types of projects. The next one that I'm going to put on, I'm actually going to put on with a piece of foam. This is just left over from a different project. And it's very dimensional. It's about 3 millimeters thick. So I'm just going to be generous there with my glue. Place that down and then place my other piece of paper right on top. I guess I didn't need glue all the way up to the outskirts of that, but that's okay. I'm just going to place that there. That's going to give it that nice dimension to that camera. And it also has this one piece that dry embosses. I think it's super cool. And I want to put a dark black ring on top of that. Again, just to add more visual dimension there. So I'm going to place my little ring on that one. And it all starts coming together quite easily. It was, you know, of course the little channels, that part is a little more fiddly, but it's okay. It also has this little piece here. And I'm going to first put that one down, and I'm going to offset it a little bit the same way it's shown in the sample. So just a little glue here. And I'm going to, oopsie, refresh my chat here just in case. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not ignoring anyone. All right, but if you see that, I'm just placing it right there, almost off to the side a bit. There we go. And now I'm going to place this top ring on. I do want it to be visible, however, so you move it around however you like. And I think I like it right around here. Okay. So this ring will go right here. And of course, depending on how you're presenting this, then you can place it in an envelope. But as I mentioned before, I'll be using a box to allow myself all of the dimension that I want to put on there. So now what's left is, of course, to just sandwich these together. You want to make sure that you're holding this, you know, top going up. I do have to hold mine in this direction because I'm left-handed. So again, I'm going to aim to the topmost part there, making sure not to go over the edge. I'm going to grab my next one. This one will go at the bottom. I want to make sure it's nice and straight. Right there. So you see that? You have a little bit of overlap there. And then the other side, same thing. Pays to be patient. Just like so. And last little bit. Dun 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 dun. Get excited. So a couple of things to be mindful of. If you're using shiny paper, just make sure it is facing in the right direction before you press anything down, just in case, because you don't want your shiny paper facing toward the back of your project. And you know, you guys know what I mean by that. Okay, nice bit of pressure there. And our little camera is complete. Now all we have to do is use these little bits here to kind of guide us so that we can place the little file pieces, if you will. They remind me of a file folder. Right inside there. Okay. And of course you can put pictures on these. You can write special dates on there. Whatever you like, because of course however you use it is up to you. And you can place them before the tabs or after, however you like. Kind of want to put it behind, and they feed right in there. Super easy. And from here on out, it's just a matter of decorating this however you like. But I think it's absolutely stunning. It's such a cute set, and super easy to present as a gift, I think. Also, here is another sample of one that I've made, because of course not all of them are, you know, the colors are up to you and how you assemble them and all of that. But here's a sample of a shabby chic style one. This was the one that pictured on the cover of this video, in case anyone wants to know why the camera doesn't look the same as the picture. It's because this is a completed one. That's why I used the picture of this one for my video. This is the one that I made on the live video, but it's the same thing. The difference being that here I used a piece of foam the same way that I did here. Instead of using a solid piece of foam, I used my dies to cut a circle with an opening in the center of the piece of foam, and I sandwiched that in between. On there is a piece of tulle and little shaker bits. That's essentially the only difference, aside from the little, you know, papers and decorative pieces. But if you see here, you can add another piece of cardstock to the back to make it sturdier on the top here. Okay, so that's what I'll do, is I'll add another piece here. What I did, however, is that here I added another piece of cardstock to cover that. Whereas here, my paper is already double-sided, so that's why it looks like so. But you can definitely add a sentiment back here, whatever you like. You know, use the dies you already have that will fit in that dimension, and you have plenty of space there to write a little message for the recipient. Hello, Monica, and welcome. Well, yeah, it's just a step-by-step process. You know, if you follow it 1, 2, 3 like that, it really isn't too complicated, I don't think. It's just a matter of making sure that, you know, you're working in one step, complete that one, then move on to the next. And I guess that's the best advice I could give you, because if you can tell, I'm more of a, you know, I want to do all of the pieces all at once, but you can't do that with this type of project. But it came together quite easily. I mean, I've been here for 30 minutes and not all of it was making the assembly. So I think it's worth it. And if you have a gift that you need to make very quickly, and all you have is an hour, then this is something perfect that you can make. So I'm going to set those aside. And by the way, these little flowers, just to let you know, I did make with the other die set that Becca Feekin sent me. And this one's the Spellbinders Petite Floral Potpourri. You can tell there, I've cut it out several times. It comes with two leaves, a long stem of leaves, a singular one, and a bunch of different tiny flowers. Absolutely adorable. And all I did was cut it out of different papers. I inked the papers. I added little diamond dots. And then, of course, I added a little heart from Renee Bouquets and little pearls to this one just to make it super shabby. But if you see here, these little elements that I didn't add, I'm sorry, this, and this here, I didn't yet add to this one, but I'll finish that off camera. At least you get an idea of what that's going to look like. Now, let's move on. And I'm sorry, my throat got a little bit dry. I have the other project. Let's see if I can complete this one in less than 30 minutes. So that way my doctor doesn't scream at me. Okay, so here's the other one, and this is going to be with the Special Memories gift box creator die set. As I mentioned before, if you just got here, this is linked in the description box of this video. So is the link for the camera. You can pick those up today if you'd like. And I have 6 people here. I would enjoy 6 thumbs up if you're enjoying the video so far. If I've shown you anything that was useful, I would truly appreciate it. So with that die set, here's what you're going to do. If you've never used it and this is your first time watching my video because you want to learn how to make that box and you don't want to go through the trouble of reading instructions, that's what I'm here for. Let me just set these aside a second and we can get started. Okay, using a larger piece of paper, you want to use sturdy, heavyweight piece of cardstock. This one happens to be a nice linen weave black cardstock. It's absolutely stunning in my opinion. Very elegant. So using this, you're going to cut out 4 panels that look like this. And the die set this is the largest die in that die set. Okay, so cut 4 of those. 2 of them are going to be your base, and then 2 will be your lid. Okay? You can probably tell that I have placed adhesive on the little tabs of only 2 of these, and that's for good reason. What you're going to do is that you're going to cut away the other 2 tabs from the same, it's the same piece, but you're going to cut those away, and it's up to you if you want to cut in or if you want to cut it absolutely straight. Depends on how you craft, but you can cut away those little tabs just like that. Super simple. I'm going right to the score line, just like that. And what you're going to do is that on the one that you have the little glue tabs, you can place your decorative pieces if you want. If you're more comfortable crafting with a flat surface, then you can go ahead and do that. Here's what I've done. I've made these panels here because I'm matching, of course, this camera. I needed to grab the dies. This die set comes with what's called verso dies, and that means that they cut into the paper. This is the largest one, and it cuts this piece that you see in that dark green, cuts out with this. But the way to cut it is that you're going to use its little partner die, and that's the edge one here. Okay, if you see, it's got that gorgeous stitching. So what I did was that I cut my panel there in that decorative paper out with this one, and then I used both to cut out this decorative piece in this gorgeous dark green cardstock. And then, yes, I did cut it out again using the decorative paper, and I inlaid all of those pieces one by one to make that look absolutely spectacular, so that way the flowers stand out, because to me that's what's so beautiful about a die set like that. So you repeat the process with the sides. So you will need, for this box, if you want to do it the same way, let's see here. Let me explain myself. You will need at least one, if not two. Okay, if you're going to make it the same way I'm making it, two of these, okay, the larger rectangle. You will need two of the, what did I do here? Here it is. Sorry, guys. Two of these smaller ones, because it comes with a smaller, and this is the same thing. Okay, two of those. I only cut out one of these with all of the inlay. However, I did make another one. I just wasn't sure if I would use it. And what I did was that I instead cut it out of this decorative piece of paper, because this is part of the collection. Okay, so I used that die and I cut it out twice. And my intention is going to be to sandwich it like this, just to give it a different look, okay? So other than this, you have that option as well. It's whatever you want, okay? I also cut out this strip using the die set. You can use it, you don't have to. And I cut out two panels here that are just solid. This is a smaller rectangle. I cut out the little belt that you can cut. If you see there, it also debosses it. Absolutely beautiful. And I cut out one of the smaller flowers like this. Hello, Carrie. Welcome. And for this, because this is going to close that little box, what I did here is that I sandwiched it, if you see there, with thin cardstock, and then with the decorative paper, and then this one just the thin cardstock, just like that, okay? So there are those panels, and by the way, it does come with two sentiments. One of them reads like so. It says a place for special memories. I cut that out of rose gold cardstock, and then the decorative cardstock there. And then the other one says Forever Moments, and it's just a smaller one. And it also comes with two other locks here, this one and this one. I happen to use this smaller one that kind of reminded me of a sunflower. It also does deboss Cherish Moments and Eternal Memories. So if you want to use that, you can. And if you want to see a sample of all of this in a different fashion, I can show you another one. But let's put this one together first. Hello, Maureen. Floral Embrace half cut. Thank you. Those are graphic 45 papers. Floral Embrace half cut. You know what, sweetie? I'm not sure if I have those. I'm gonna have to look it up and see if I have that in my stash or not. Because I do have one of the half cut collections. And I can't show you a sample because, as I mentioned in most of my videos, I don't keep much of what I make. I either sell it or give it away. So sadly for the half cut one, goodness, I don't remember. Oh, wait, I said I was going to assemble this first. I almost forgot. Okay, so this is going to be the top. I'm sorry, this is going to be the bottom of the box. So let's take away this panel. Or no, I want this on the top. Sorry, guys. I think I want to put... I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to decorate the bottom of my box with this one here. Okay, and you'll see why when it's all assembled. Don't want to waste that beautiful pattern if I don't have to. That's basically the gist of it. So as you can tell, I did use double-sided adhesive there, but I'm going to back it up with liquid adhesive because temperature does fluctuate here in upstate New York. And you can go through all the trouble and then have your papers fall away. And you don't want that. Okay, so you have an option of how you want to place this. I'm just going to go kind of close to that fold line there at the bottom. I'm going to eyeball this and just stick it right around there. If it's closer to one edge than the other, kind of try to smudge it. All right, just like that. Okay. So that's what it's looking like so far. And then I'm going to grab the two pieces that are just this this side of the decorative paper. I'm going to stick those on the side. This one here came out kind of, I want to say last October or so, or September, because I got mine a little bit late. And it was, it's a beautiful die set. I mean, if you're going to invest in dies, I know I always say this, they are an investment in your craft, but if you're going to grab any, I can't say anything bad about TonicStudios dies because I absolutely enjoy them. I love them. I think they're great quality. They're worth every dime in my opinion because they make it look like you're working so hard. That's one of the things I always go back to. And thank you. The colors, I mean, I had nothing to do with it. My son, this is for someone that my son's gonna give this to. And I asked what colors, and he said green. And I thought, okay, green. Let me look at my papers, what has green in it. And this happened to have a lot of green. And I thought, you know what? I haven't even used this paper. It was released in 2015. You know how we are. We hoard our papers, especially the pretty stuff. And I've tried to make it my mission this year to use the pretty stuff. Don't save anything. I want to outlive my craft papers. So here on our little tab, all we have to do is remove that adhesive backing. Make sure we line this up nice and straight. Super easy there, right? We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Nice and straight. Just like so. All right, so we have half of the bottom of the box, and you see how this is, it would look like that, okay? This little partner page here is now going to kind of feed in here, all right? Which is why I didn't bother putting any panels on those three sides there. I can decorate the other side, however. I can decorate this side here, so I could definitely put this panel down here, or I can put another one of these. All right, so I was thinking, let's see here, of maybe putting this one here, but because I can still do the inlay, and I'm gonna be quite honest, I forgot. I forgot to do the inlay pieces on that one, but that's okay, I can do it later. So let me just put this on here. If I made it, I should use it, right? So I'm gonna try to be generous with the glue here. Take this aside for one moment, just so I can place this down. Aim toward the bottom there as well. Just like that, okay? And now I'm going to glue this bottom. So I am going to put some glue right here at this edge, this edge. And the box could be larger than what I need, but that's okay. I can fill it with shred if that's the case. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for being here. So just going to allow myself some sturdy, sticky action here, right? And one more here. Okay, so now, as I mentioned before, this is just going to feed right into its little partner there. I've already scored everything. So I'm going to remove this backing. And guys, I cut my nails because I broke one. And now I feel like I don't have fingers because they were so long. All right, to buy myself like 2 seconds worth of time, I'm going to back this up with the liquid adhesive also. Okay. And this is just going to feed right in here. I'm hoping that you guys can see this okay. But it's just going to feed right into the other one. And you can burnish that if you'd like. All right. So it should fit perfectly, like so. Okay. And some of you may be getting ideas already by watching this. So if you are, let me know what you're thinking, because I think great minds think alike. Oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. This is the one that I assembled on the live video today. And the other one I had already made and used as the cover picture. But it's the same exact camera I explained earlier. It just has different papers. And I did happen to make the shabby chic one shaker. Okay, so this is now just going to line right up here. You want to meet this edge perfectly if you can. Just like so. Applying gentle pressure at first. And then you can burnish. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to cover that beautiful panel, so I'm just going to tuck this one in here, okay? If you see that. Now what I don't want to have is anything peeking over the top there, okay, as far as glue is concerned. So that's something to be mindful of when you are applying your adhesive. Everything worked out fine here. And I love this because it's very nice and sturdy because of the fact that you are using 2 layers. So now I'm just going to fold this in so that I don't have any mistakes here. You can take your time with this. I'm going to remove that, and I do want to apply a bit of liquid glue. I try to just follow the same little tracks there that I made with the score tape. Okay, so now I'm just going to lay it on the side. You do it whichever way makes you comfortable. I kind of like to line it up like this and then pinch it just gently. I find that 2 seconds worth of patience pays off big time. Okay, so this, my friends, is the bottom. Okay, that's where this little camera is going to reside. You can tell there's a lot of room in there, okay? So the cool thing is that if I wanted to cut this down before, of course, applying panels and all that, you can definitely do that. You can make this shorter and make it a smaller box. What you would sacrifice in doing so is this little edge here, unless you want to line up your die. If you know how to do that, you know you can line up that die, the decorative one, if you want to. Just line it up and then cut it lower like that if you want. Okay, so that's an option. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the top, but this is going to be a little bit different because we are going to decorate it upside down, if you will. And the other thing that we're going to do is, bear with me guys, I'm just folding, I want to make sure that I fold this because I didn't have it pre-folded and I don't want to ruin it. Okay. All right, so the one thing that you want to bear in mind here is that depending on your project and how thick everything is here, you want to place this so that it'll close, okay? And as I mentioned before, I had made this panel so pretty and everything, but if you can tell, this will close all the way down like that, unless I place some sort of stopper here, okay? And I hope I'm making sense, because this is the same size. All right, I hope that makes sense to you guys. I'm going to show you something for you visual people, if you're anything like me. This is the very first sample of what I made with this. And here, what I did was I placed this ribbon, and that helped give it a bit of space there, if you will, because I wanted to make sure that you could see this panel and the one on the back. So you see, depending on how much bulk you have, then you're going to determine whether or not you want to use the entire piece or not. Over here is another one, and what I did here was that I cut away part of the box. So you see how it's straight at the bottom? And that's because I didn't want it to go all the way down. I was fitting a mini album, I think. Let me see what's in here. And I'm not trying to stray off topic. I just want to make sure that you guys understand where I'm coming from. So you see how this still has that gorgeous little edge there. And yes, I did use that embossed one. But because of the way that this was going to fit, I went ahead and I cut away that curve. And it fits perfectly. My mini album fits in there just fine. And then I could still use my little decorative notch there, the little flower. And this was the one that I made with the beaded mini album, if you haven't seen that video. So just some samples to show you there. Back to this one. I want to create something here to stop this. So what I can do is that I can use this piece here as kind of a little, what do you call that? A little edge, if you will. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3D foam on that, and that's going to help my box close without covering everything up. So, I'm going to take my foam, and please let me know if that's understandable or not. I hope it's not too complicated. I don't think it is. But I'm just going to use my 3D foam here. It doesn't curve very easily, so I just have to cut some little notches on here to make it work for me. Oh, hello, Lady Cree. I think we owe you a happy birthday, don't we? I think I recently saw one of your videos and you're celebrating a birthday. So happy belated birthday, darling. I think I owe you a card. I owe everyone a card, by the way, guys. I'm so bad. Can make these gorgeous things and then, you know, I am horrible at sending them out on time. Oh, it's so bad. I have that tropical mind. That's my excuse anyway, right? My tropical mind doesn't let me send things out on time. All right, so I'm just going to place this here. I'm going to gauge it, of course, according to how I want to close this, as I mentioned before. Just going to place this right about here. And of course, this is completely optional. You don't have to do it like this. This is just, you know, my little way of making up for that. And I think it looks really cool. And of course, you know, you could bling this out if you wanted to. All right, so there's that. All right, let's set that aside. Let's go back to the top now. Of course, we're going to work opposite of how we did this one. And I had mentioned that I wanted to use these panels as my decorative panels on top. So I am going to layer those. Actually, let me put this one on first so I don't ruin anything. Oh, you're very welcome, darling. So here's this. And I think I'm going to put the closure on the back of this again, just like I did on the other box that I showed you guys. Just to make my life... Or no, I'm not going to do that. No, 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 no. I want to use... Sorry, guys, I got ahead of myself. I want to use this to close it. So... Okay, let's backtrack. This is going to be here. And I want to make sure that I can use it to close it. So let's put this right around here. Totally eyeballing it, but I think it's gonna work. Just gonna put some glue right there. All right, and I'm gonna try not to take myself too seriously here, because if I do, then I won't complete my task here. Okay, so in any case, there's the one strap, and I could just glue it, you know, halfway. It doesn't have to be all the way to the bottom. It's really up to you. But let's get back to this. I'm gonna place this on top, right around there, just like so. And of course, this you could pop up, you can add lace underneath here, however you want to do it. It's up to you. I'm just going to keep this flat for now. So, and this was again cut using the same size die, but you can tell that if you stagger them, you can get a completely different look. Okay, so I'm going to do this here, adding a little bit more glue. I want this to hold really nicely. Don't want my edges curling up or any of that nonsense, right? So I'm just going to add this all the way up here as close to the top as I can, but of course lining it up with the previous paper. There we go. I think that's going to look really pretty. Okay. And here is where I'm going to use those beautiful decorative panels, because I took the trouble to inlay those pieces. So let's go ahead and use them. I kind of like to do it in a diagonal fashion like that. I think it looks pretty that way. So I'm going to remove the backing here. And you can tell I'm doing all of my decoration on only one panel. And that's my recommendation here. Okay. And that's kind of how we did that other, the bottom of the box. It was the same thing. All right, so I'm going to go here like that. And let's do the other side. I guess I didn't put any adhesive on that. Okay, I'm going to put this one here. And then I also had made this decorative panel the same way that I put it down here. You can also decorate the bottom of the box if you want to. What I decided was that I would put this on the top, and that kind of frames everything out and makes it look super beautiful. So let's take the backing off of that. So guys, if you're new to each other's channels, please support one another. There are a lot of people right now putting out some gorgeous content. I have to say, in all my years of watching YouTube videos and crafty ladies and all this stuff, I think like the creations that I'm seeing lately are really just blowing my mind. I think people are just stepping it up. And I love, love, love watching all of your videos. It's just so much fun. It's a lot of inspiration out there, guys. So, okay. My OCD is kicking in, so I have to get rid of all this nonsense over here really quickly. I can't concentrate in a mess. All right, but we have that down. And we want to partner this up, of course, right? But before we do so, we need to be mindful of how this is going to fit on top of this box, okay? All right, so if you see that, we need to be mindful of how this is going to fit on top. And if you know anything about boxes, then you know that this one needs to be slightly larger than the bottom one. So how are you going to create that difference in size? It's a matter of maybe 1/16 of an inch. Thank you, Maureen. So here again, I'm just going to fold my second piece of paper. Okay. As I mentioned before, I don't need these little tabs. So We can cut them off. And it's up to you. Cut them off at a, you know, V shape, however you want. It's really whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, because this is going to go inside of our other piece, right? But instead of adhering this all the way to that edge as I showed you the first time, what you're going to do is you're going to allow yourself maybe a 1/16 of an inch there of space. And that is so that you can cover this bottom box and not have it be so tight that you then can't even fit it on there. And I hope that makes sense. So let's start gluing here. I'm just going to apply liquid glue. And of course you could do it the same way I had done previously with the score tape and all that jazz. All right. Just going to do for the sake of time, just do this. Okay. So again, I'm just going to place it on here, but allow myself maybe about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. It's going to be plenty of room. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, yeah, I don't do clutter. I don't do clutter anywhere. I don't care where. I can go to your house and if I see clutter on your countertop, in 2 minutes I'm going to be cleaning that countertop. I just can't handle it. And, you know, my floor right now would speak against me if the floor could speak and say, what are you talking about? You know, look at this mess. But the papers all fly in that direction, so long as they're not here. Oh gosh. But yeah, so now we can adhere the sides. Okay, so that's all I did. If you see there, I just have a tiny little lip there. It's barely noticeable, but it's going to come into play when we put our box together. Okay, it really will. So you can kind of do a dry run and see like, oh my gosh, did I do it right? Do I need to maybe be mindful of the panels that I put on the bottom? And I'm sorry if I was out of frame there, but those are things to keep in mind when you're building these, okay? Is that you want to make sure that whatever you do up here is not then impeded by anything that you placed on the bottom of your box, okay? And sorry for, you know, being preachy about it. It's just that, guys, I would hate for you to go through the trouble and cut your pretty paper and then find out it was all crooked because, you know, you didn't follow those steps. So let's just go ahead and place our glue here. And everyone has their methods, but I'm just sharing what I'm comfortable with. Of course, if you have something better that works for you, then, you know, do that. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and place my little panel here. And I'm going a little bit faster than maybe you should if it's your first time doing it, as far as, you know, putting one panel on top of the other and whatnot. But again, you do you. So here, you're going to notice the difference there. All right. You're going to notice that this is a little bit farther there, and that's okay. Now you can burnish it. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I don't need to hold it on the box. I now know, you know, how far I can go with that. What you don't want is two separate measurements, you know. Try to be consistent. Okay, so I'm going to take off this little backing. Come on, baby. There we go. Place that down first. And I get messy when I craft, guys. I get my hands all up in the glue and everything, but in the end, it all works out. Okay? I just keep a baby wipe nearby, and I clean my hands as I go. All right. Having said that, I get too much glue. There we go. You can wipe off any excess if you need to, like that. Okay. Don't be too afraid of paper. So there's that. I'm loving it so far. I think My son picked out that panel. I think it's really pretty. It's gonna work. So now can put our little camera inside, and of course, as I said before, you can put some shred in there. You can put another little baggie with candies at the bottom or anything like that. And then this can go, oops, this way, like this. And what I want to make sure I do now, all right, so it's going to be a tiny, tiny bit snug, but not too horrible. I want to make sure that this feeds in here. There we go. So if you see there, because I have this panel down here, it's a little bit snug, okay? But what I want to do now is that I want to finish this part here. And it turned out to be quite taller than I anticipated, but I think it's okay. What I have is this bottom piece here. Now you can cut these at whatever size you like. That's all up to you. You can wrap it all the way around the box. You can make it look like it's got a long belt all the way around. That's really, you know, whatever you like. What I decided was to just put this here and to try to get that little sunflower piece kind of to fit right around there, if I can. I'm gonna give it a try. So I'm gonna try to put this piece first. It's kind of fiddly for me anyway, because I know that this is not the part that's got to stick. It's the little flower that I made. So sometimes it takes me a minute to figure that part out, but I know it can be done. Okay. But what I want to do is reference here the this part of the box. So bear with me 1 second. Okay. I don't want to ruin it. I'm going to fold this up a tiny bit. But I'm going to put this down first. So with a little bit of glue down here, right at the center. Right around there. And I guess, you know what, I could cut off a tiny bit of it because I don't want it to be too long. And I'm trying to center it as well, so this is going to be the more fiddly part of this, of course. So I'm just going to cut away what I don't need here. I'm going to try to be brave. Apply my glue. You can see there's always changes that happen here and there, but that's okay. If you really have it, you know, kind of together, then you can do the hot glue, but I'm going to start off like this because I'm trying to aim toward the same little belt that I already have in there. Can't change the position of that one. Okay. Let's put our little flower here. I'm only going to adhere the bottom half of this. And whoops, I might have to do the hot glue after all, but I'm going to try to do it without this drying too fast. Or I mean, falling apart too fast. And I might have to do it a little bit lower than I anticipated. All right, so it's going to take a moment for that to dry, but then once that does, I can apply the second one to this portion here and then only apply glue on the top half. So basically you're doing the opposite of what you did at the bottom, you'll do at the top, and I hope that makes sense. So this is going to face the opposite way, this is facing to the right, this one's facing to the left, etc., etc. So I'm gonna do this right around here. Okay. And of course I want to try it, but I kind of have to wait for it to dry. So I don't want to fiddle with it too much. I'm going to let it dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to apply this here. This is a place for special memories. I think I want to put it back here. And then I want to also add this gorgeous panel. I'm going to leave myself some room because I think I'm going to repeat that the strip that I put here. I'm going to put another one here just to make it all look cohesive. And yes, I will finish the little flowers there. But I'm going to go ahead and place this on top. So let's finish that side. And I'm sorry guys if I've taken too long with this video, but I do thank those of you who have stopped by. I do appreciate your feedback, any thumbs up for any anything you may have liked in the video. This is just fun for me to share, which is why I do it. Okay. Place that right. I'm going to have to move it a tiny little bit. Easier to do it when the box is flat. But also kind of stick my fingers back there and press it a little bit. All right. And then this can go here. I think I'm going to use dimensionals for that. So I have some here. And of course you can decorate it however you like. I happen to have some ribbon and some sequins, believe it or not, and I may use them. Not sure yet. So I'm just going to place this right on top here. And of course I can place little gems and all that good stuff. So that's what that's going to look like on that side. And again, I will complete this little piece here because I think it's needing that kind of creamy color now. And I have different trims. I have different colors here. So you can use, of course, whatever you like. In fact, if you don't like this kind of mechanism to close the box, you can also use a ribbon and just feed it through the same way that I fed through the paper. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to give this a try now. See if I like it. And I think I did something wrong. I think I needed to put... Yes, I know what I did. I figured it out. Okay. I know what to do. I need to glue this entire piece down. So learn from my mistakes, guys. I need to glue this down. I needed someone to tell me, no, Raquel, that's not how. Okay, here we go. I'm going to glue that little strip down. So learn from my mistakes. Okay. And now this is going to be able to feed through here. Like so. Nope, it's not working for me. I might have to take it off. And it might be because I glued too many layers. Might be that this little flower is too thick. But I'll figure it out. I will. Alright, I'm just going to try to press this down. Because again, only half of this is glued. But let's give that a try. Goes right to there. And nope, I'm doing something wrong. Okay. When in doubt, use Velcro. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna fight with this any longer. I'm just gonna use Velcro. Until I figure it out, because I've done it before and I don't know what I'm doing wrong today, and I don't have the patience to wait and figure it out. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to glue this down here. This is called improvising, because I don't like what this is doing to me today. That's going to be static. So is this little flower. So I apologize if this is not what it should have been, but this is what it's going to be. I'm just going to place that there with some Velcro, and I might even move the little flower or place a gem there, whatever. Let's put it up here a little bit higher up. Right about there. Okay, here we go. That closure is not what I wanted it to be, but that's how it's gonna stay. I'm going to finish this off with trim just to make it look presentable, you know. I sure hope so. I hope I didn't disappear on you. Please let me know if you can see me in the chat. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this here. Let me try it out off camera here a second. Okay, don't want any accidents. So I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of that here. And this is where I need to take my time and go slow. But just to finish that off, that little edge, I'm just going to apply a little bit more here. I'm having to work a little bit fast because I do have a fan facing me. But I like that shiny edge there to pull away any strings. And I'm just going to go around that top edge. Just like so. Like that. Just trying to go right to the edge there. I've got one more little edge here. Just like that. Okay, so now I can cut off the excess. Thank you. I did make a mistake in the closure there, kind of goofed that up, but you know what? Part of crafting is practicing forgiveness. So I'm just going to forgive myself and move on. I think I want to apply a little bit more here, but I could also do the sequins. So let me take a look at that. Got to be careful with this hot glue. I had grabbed some of these. And I could also add the sequins on the top there, just to give it a little something different. Why not? Okay, so if you see that, it'll have two different kinds of trim there. And I don't have to worry too much about that edge because the sequins will hide whatever. Kind of neat. I like the difference in texture. I'm just going to try to clean that off a tiny bit. So one thing about black cardstock is that it will show every little bit that's wrong. Okay, so let's start here. And I'm going to place that there because I can always cut away. And I hope I haven't been outside of frame too much. Kind of have to work fast when you're doing this, because if you know hot glue, you know you have to beat it. It's kind of like a race. Woohoo, baby. There we go. Okay, my glue is getting a little bit cold, so let's see if I can flip this. Yep, I'm gonna have to take away a little piece there or cover it up. I accidentally flipped my sequins, but I can take that off. Ta-da! All right, no harm, no foul. Woo! That was scary for a second. Okay. And I can always move the sequins back or add another sequin. All right, and I'm almost done with this edge here. I'm just waiting on my glue to get hotter. But it'll have one more little corner here to go. Gonna have to train these first. And these sequins, I believe, came from the dollar store, but I'm not quite sure. Trying to remember where I grabbed them, but I think this brand Floral Garden, I think that's from the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store or something like that. But I'm gonna try to, come on, try to flip these so that they're all together now. There we go. So again, it might be a little bit fiddly, but I think it's worth the detail. You know, going through the trouble to add the detail. So flatten that, turn around, flatten that. Okay. So I will clean this all up, of course, and just gonna add one more little drop here. I hope this has given you a good idea of how you can use this die set. At least, you know, you can take something away from it. Even if you don't have these dies, if you have something similar, perhaps this can give you some inspiration as to how to use your dies just to create something different. But that's that one little edge. I don't want to torture you guys keeping you here watching me glue with hot glue. So the other thing that I was going to do was to, oopsie, my poor little box, was to add some ribbon to this one here, because I thought that would look super cute. So I think I'm going to make like a double bow. Let's see where this goes. Okay, just like that. And I just thought this color played nicely with this. It's a nice teal blue. So there's my little bow. Just like that. And then this is going to make it look ultra girly. So I will apply this also with some hot glue. Maybe this side is prettier. Let me take a look. Yeah. Okay. Just going to apply a little adhesive there. And put my little bow on the camera. Like that. Okay. All right. I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm just going to leave it here, however, because as I've mentioned before, I can't go too far with my videos just for health reasons. I can't be standing too long. So this is kind of my cutoff time because I've been here for over an hour, and I do apologize if it seems incomplete, but we did assemble this together, the box, even though I ended up finishing it with Velcro because I kind of botch the flower. If I figure this out, I'll come back and show you guys. But in any case, it'll open like so. The little camera that we also made live today, just completed, will go right inside. And as I mentioned, you can add candy at the bottom, you can add shred, whatever you like. And it gives you a beautiful finished piece that you can give to a loved one or friend. And I think it's tons of fun. Here's the shabby version, of course, as I shared before. And I didn't share this, but this is how it'll cut out if you use a little phrase that "you make me smile." And then it also has the other one that says something about clicking. You and I click or something like that. But hi, Chiquita. But I do appreciate you guys having been here. Thank you so much for those of you who stopped by and said hello. Thank you for the thumbs up and for your support. And as I've said before, please stop by each other's channels, support one another in this crafty venture, we can use all of the positivity that we can, yeah, everybody knows what I'm referring to. We need some positivity in this world right now. So prayers to you all that you can be healthy, that you can be well, and that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Ciao. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, guys. And remember to use the links if you want to get in your hands on any one of these items. Okay, guys? Thanks again. Bye-bye.